Welcome to the B.F. Anderson Technical Report for July the 6th. We had a short week this week, so we're doing the report on Friday. You know, long-term trends are very important to understand. If you get too hung up on day-to-day activities, say right now the big thing is the tariff fears and the trade fears. You know, Donald Rumsfeld, who was Secretary of Defense, once said, these are all known knowns. You know, the market knows about everything you could possibly think of. The market discounts the future. So the reason it's important to look at these long-term trends is that you see what is the market telling us. In other words, let's look at the facts. That's the main thing. Look at the facts. So what I'm doing here is I have a monthly graph showing moving averages, which is our old 10-20, 10-month moving average versus the 20-month moving average. And for illustrative purposes, now this is just to illustrate a point. Back in 2009, 2008, we started to tell clients and associates that we thought the price of oil was topping. And oil got up to $110 a barrel. Then we got the death cross in the moving averages. And, we had clients that had substantial oil positions, and we said, look, we really think you should lighten up in this. So, oil then proceeded to drop from 110 all the way down to around the $50 area. Then it rallied, broke down again, and then, came on down into the $30 area. You can see it clear here on the actual graph. Now, this is a monthly graph. You can see we got the death cross on the prior chart at around $100 a barrel. Oil did actually drop to 30, rallied, and then dropped down to 20 in the 20s, or 27, then has been moving back up. So you can see here by this graph that you got the clear reversal of trend and the breakdown here, which was then not confirmed by a higher high, and then you got a second breakdown. Now we're kind of looking like possibly that oil could be bottoming, so you want to be aware of that. But the point of the illustration is to say using the 10-20 moving averages makes sense. So let's look at something very similar. This graph is incredibly similar. This is the Shanghai Stock Index. So we're concerned about what's going on with trade. Well, I think China needs to be more concerned than us, and you're going to see what I'm talking about here in a minute. So the Shanghai is the Hong Kong, is in Hong Kong. All stocks in Hong Kong and mainland China trade there. And you can see that this could be the beginnings of a long-term downtrend. This is not good news for China. So again, we're seeing the death cross, the drop in the index. We rally, we make a lower high. Now we're getting, we got another death cross, and now we're getting another death cross. So if you look at the actual index, you can see that something is going on in China. The Shanghai index has entered a bear market. So, it just kind of would make me say, when it comes to investing, maybe you ought to stay in the United States right now. This is kind of maybe the best place to be. We're seeing similar problems in the emerging market stocks as well. So I did want to point out some economic factors here using the same 10-20 moving averages. When you listen to the media, whether it's Fox Business, whether it's CNBC, whether it's CBS, whatever, they all have opinions. And the opinion is that we're going into, possibly going into a recession, that we're late in the business cycle and so forth. I'm not seeing it. I mean, I'm just not seeing it. I mean, this is a graph of the claims, unemployment claims for unemployment insurance. It is at a 49-year low, and I see a downtrend in unemployment claims, which means high employment, which means no recession. So just be aware of this. Be aware of these facts. Don't get too hung up on the media or too hung up on opinions. Here's the NASDAQ. Is the U.S. economy booming? It sure looks like it to me. I mean, we've got the NASDAQ here. If you use the long-term monthly charts, you're seeing a very strong uptrend. You're seeing back here, we had a little mini bear market in here where there was a lot of confusion right after the election. But ever since the election, we have been in a very steady uptrend. And if you even take another look at the Russell 2000, which is the small cap stocks. Now, these would primarily be domestic U.S. companies that have little international exposure. They're big beneficiaries of the tax cuts. And so what we have here is another very healthy looking uptrend in the small cap stocks. So the conclusion here is look at the facts, look at the long-term trends, avoid downtrends, which I would say you probably should avoid Chinese investments or really international investing right now. And then you want to pursue uptrends, which to me would be, I'd be looking for some small caps. So let's look at a couple of stocks here on the top 5 watch list. This is Abiomed. Again, we're seeing a lot of strength in the medical area. Now, Abiomed is a very interesting company with an interesting new technology that has to do with heart pumps. However, you can see the moving averages are fine. Now, the stock has pulled back, is holding above the 50-day moving average. Here we have another medical supply company called Dexcom, which is a mid-cap company. Again, you're seeing a very strong uptrend and actually made an all-time new high here recently. This is a technology company called Turtle Beach. A very interesting company. Now, this is a small company. Hard to really understand their business. They're mainly into headphones used by gamers. That's their primary business. But you can see the stock recently hit a new high, something to watch. Not buy, but watch. Netflix, our old friend, I have to say we do own the stock. We've owned it for a while now, doing quite well with Netflix. Netflix hit an all-time new high here recently at 420. Small pullback, holding above the 25-day moving average, which is a lot of strength in here. Netflix continues to look good. This is another company called Wix. Now, this is an Israeli company that has a lot to do with e-commerce. They provide e-commerce web pages for people that want to have their businesses on the internet. Again, recent new high, uptrend looks good. Keep an eye on Wix. Now, this would also, there are several other companies that are in this business as well, and Shopify would be one of them, and there's a Chinese company called Baozun. But Wix is a company that is providing e-commerce services. So all said and done, we think that the U.S. market, especially the NASDAQ and the small caps, continue to be in healthy uptrends. However, we would continue to be cautious here. There is a lot of volatility. But if you have any questions, please give me a call. Thank you very much.